Welcome to the Deep Dives, the place where we sift through the noise so you don't have to.
Ah,
Today, we are staring down two just massive intersecting forces. They're reshaping every career path out there. On one hand, you have this persistent economic uncertainty. I mean, leaders are still deeply worried about recessionary headwinds. And on the other, this exponential disruptive force of AI.
yeah.
It's a job market defined by volatility.
It is. It's a profound moment, and the material we've gathered, it really reflects that dual challenge. We've synthesized everything from, the big annual tech reports like the Microsoft Work Trend Index to these really detailed career projections for the next decade. So our mission in this deep dive is, I think, very clear. We need to equip you with the secure paths forward.
Yeah.
And that means looking at both the defensive careers, the ones that offer stability no matter what, and then the offensive skills you absolutely have to acquire to master these new AI tools.
And I think that's the balance everyone listening is trying to find right now. How do you find that safe harbor? The jobs that a machine just fundamentally can't replace, while at the same time preparing yourself to be a leader in this technological wave that's sweeping the office.
It's that footing between safety and technological leadership.
Exactly. We need a blueprint.
Yeah.
So let's start with the defense, the resilience factor. That term, recession-proof, is always trending for a reason. Now, we know no job is 100% immune, but our sources all confirm that certain fields are just far less susceptible to cuts. It's usually because they provide services that are, well, they're essential, non-negotiable.
And what creates that barrier, both from an economic and a technological standpoint, is fascinating. The data isolates these four distinct human superpowers that create what is essentially an impenetrable shield against replacement. These are the areas where AI just fundamentally struggles, and that's where humans keep the edge.
The four superpowers. Okay, give us the breakdown. I'm ready to start training these muscles.
Absolutely. The first one is emotional intelligence. This is your capacity for genuine empathy, for trust building, for communication that requires a really nuanced understanding of human context. A machine can, fake an emotion, but it can't actually build trust.
That makes perfect sense. An AI can analyze communication patterns, right?
Right.
But it can't truly comfort a grieving client.
It can't. And it can't motivate a disillusioned employee in a genuinely human way. Precisely. The second is creative innovation. And we're not talking about generating 1,000 variations of a logo that's just pattern matching. We mean original thought, unique vision. The leap beyond existing data. AI synthesizes, it doesn't invent from scratch.
Okay, so empathy and true originality. What's number 3?
Third is physical dexterity and environmental adaptation. So manual skills and the ability to navigate unpredictable, messy, real-world conditions. The physical world is just still too complex, too chaotic for robots to handle reliably.
And the fourth line of defense.
The fourth is ethical judgment. This is the capacity to handle complex moral implications, to make those high-stakes decisions that affect human welfare. Think about a judge or a doctor making a critical triage decision. These are complex, subjective calls you just cannot delegate to an algorithm.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because those superpowers translate directly into projected career growth.
Yeah.
The data here it's jaw-dropping. Healthcare is the undisputed leader in this resilience category. We saw data showing that nurse practitioners, for example, they leverage all four of those superpowers, and they show a staggering 45.7% projected growth by 2032. I mean, that is just unprecedented stability.
And if you look closer at that role of the nurse practitioner, you see that perfect fusion. They need physical dexterity for procedures, deep emotional intelligence to build patient trust, ethical judgment when prescribing medications, and creative innovation when they're adapting treatment plans for unique cases. It's the ultimate hybrid human role.
But it's not just limited to those top-tier medical roles. Other healing professions, the ones that require that hands-on presence and empathy, they're also soaring. Physical therapists, for example, they're showing 16.9% projected growth. Mental health professionals, 22.1% growth.
Right, because that's almost entirely based on genuine emotional intelligence. And the physical world, like we said, remains a shield. So if you're not drawn to healthcare, the skilled trades are just an absolute anchor of stability. The complexity of installing, fixing, maintaining real-world infrastructure is just extremely difficult to automate cost-effectively.
I love the specificity here. We're talking electricians showing 11% projected growth, and plumbers, pipe fitters, 10% growth. It's that complexity, right? Adapting to tight spaces, unexpected corrosion, the unique layout of one specific building.
Exactly. The human ability to rapidly problem solve in these unpredictable environments, that's the core asset. We even saw that very insightful comment on one of our sources, a Reddit thread on automation, which sums it up perfectly.
Oh, I remember this one.
It was, AI is not going to fix that leaking shitter. It's crude, yes, but it's correct. The messiness of reality is a powerful job creator.
That perspective is absolutely critical. And then we also have to remember public safety and essential services, law enforcement, firefighters, the utility workers who keep our water and power on. They're essential regardless of the economy.
Right, they're anchored in physical presence and immediate ethical judgment. And just to contrast this with the white-collar world for a second, even highly paid services like law and finance aren't uniformly safe, but the specialized, crisis-focused areas are. Things like criminal defense, bankruptcy law, complex tax accounting, they hold steady. They require intense human negotiation. And in tech, cybersecurity analysts show huge resilience, 33% growth, because they require adversarial thinking.
So on the defensive front, the strategy is crystal clear. Secure yourself by focusing on jobs that demand that physical presence, high-stakes, ethical judgment, deep human touch. But now we have to shift. We need to transition to the knowledge worker, the desk-bound professional. For them, AI isn't going to just eliminate the job title. It's transforming how the work gets done. And this brings us to that Microsoft Work Trend Index data, which reveals the crisis driving all this.
Yes, we're looking at what the researchers call the capacity gap. And this is the key reason companies are jumping on AI so quickly. Leaders see the urgency. You have 53% of executives saying productivity has to increase this year. But at the same time, 80% of the global workforce reports lacking enough time or energy to meet their current demands. There's this massive misalignment.
We all feel that strain. I mean, what does the data say is actually causing that feeling of being completely underwater?
The telemetry data is, frankly, shocking. The average employee is interrupted by notifications, emails, pings, coworker requests every 2 minutes during work hours.
Every 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes. Just think about that. That adds up to 275 interruptions a day. It's an impossible scenario for deep work.
275? That's not a workday. That feels like just constantly bailing water out of a sinking ship.
And that's compounded by the chaotic workflow. 60% of all meetings are ad hoc. They're not pre-scheduled. And chats outside the standard 9-to-5 workday. They're up 15% year over year. You are constantly in reactive mode. The result is this palpable chaos. Nearly half of all employees, 48%, say their work feels completely fragmented.
That is the infinite workday in action. You can't be strategic when you're managing 275 interruptions. So the solution, according to the research, is to bring in intelligence on tap. AI acts as this affordable, abundant, tireless digital labor to close that capacity gap by automating the drudgery.
And this rapid adoption is pushing companies toward becoming what are called frontier firms. These are organizations built entirely around on-demand intelligence. They expect this major shift to happen within the next 2 to 5 years, and it unfolds in 3 distinct phases. Phase 1, which is where we are now mostly, is AI as a simple assistant, removing drudgery, drafting emails, summarizing documents.
And then it gets significantly more integrated, right? More autonomous.
Precisely. Phase 2 is where AI agents join teams as true digital colleagues. They take on specific, complex tasks under human direction. So you might have a research agent whose only job is to constantly monitor market trends, or a sales agent that autonomously qualifies leads for you.
So less of a calculator and more of a dedicated staff member. Okay, in phase 3.
Phase 3 is the ultimate evolution. Human-led, agent-operated. So the human leader sets the grand strategic direction, the why, and then delegates entire processes to a swarm of coordinated agents. A marketing director sets a quarterly goal, and the agents execute the entire campaign deployment, testing, optimization, reporting, all of it. The human just sets the strategy.
Wow. And the data on those early adopting frontier firms is so compelling. It shows the immediate benefit of embracing this instead of fighting it. 71% of workers at these firms say their company is thriving. The global average is just 37%. And crucially, they are way less likely to fear AI taking their jobs. 21% fear job loss versus 43% globally. I see it as an accelerator.
And this is where we pivot to the offensive strategy, which directly addresses that fear. To navigate a phase 3 company, a new critical role is emerging, the agent boss. This is the high-value professional who manages and directs and delegates massive workloads to these digital agents. It requires a completely new skill set.
And a massive shift in mindset. You have to stop viewing AI as just a dictionary or a calculator. We know the workforce is split right down the middle right now. You've got 52% of workers who still see AI as a simple command-based tool, but then you have 46% who view it as a thought partner, a collaborator that can challenge their thinking.
And the competitive advantage is entirely on the side of that 46%. Working effectively with agents means demanding more than simple answers. It requires the specialized skill of advanced prompt engineering. It's not just asking, summarize this report. It's summarize this report in the voice of a skeptical investor, find the 3 weakest arguments, and propose a counter strategy.
That differentiation is everything. We're moving from basic input-output to managing complex intellectual delegation. It requires the user to spot the AI's weak reasoning, to refine its outputs, and that highlights a clear skills gap, especially between leadership and employees.
That gap is significant, and it's growing. While 69% of leaders now underline the importance of AI literacy, that's up 7% year over year, leaders are much more familiar with advanced agents, 67%, compared to employees at just 40%. And this confidence translates directly into how they see their careers. 79% of leaders believe AI will accelerate their careers, compared to only 67% of employees.
So organizations are realizing they have a ticking clock. They can't just wait for the next generation of hires. They have to upskill their current people immediately.
Exactly. The action plan is already in motion. 47% of leaders list upskilling their existing workforce as a top priority right now, and a massive 78% plan to hire for new AI-specific roles. Roles that didn't even exist a few years ago, like AI trainers or dedicated AI agent specialists.
Which brings us all the way back to what makes you truly indispensable. The most valuable career asset you can build right now is that hybrid skill set. It's the combination of specific technical knowledge like Python or advanced prompt engineering with those durable human capabilities we identified earlier. Creativity, ethical judgment, emotional intelligence.
That combination is the true key. It's the key to longevity, high value, and premium compensation. The LinkedIn data confirms this dramatically. It shows professionals with these hybrid skill sets are commanding salaries that are 40% higher than their peers. The future doesn't belong to the AI purist or the human purist. It belongs to the manager of the human agent team.
What an incredible synthesis of these two massive forces. So, to get career security in this uncertain age, the path is really on two parallel tracks. Defensively, you choose resilient fields like healthcare, skilled trades, public service, things that need human judgment and physical presence. And then offensively, you master AI literacy. You become that agent boss who can strategically manage digital labor.
The dividing line between future career growth and, frankly, career extinction boils down to what you choose to focus on. AI excels at scale, speed, and 247 availability. Those are top reasons employees turn to AI over their human colleagues. Therefore, we, as humans, must focus intensely on nuance, trust, and ethical judgment. These are the complementary skills that make that human-agent pairing so incredibly profitable.
That's the ultimate takeaway. And it puts the onus directly on you, the listener. If AI is rapidly taking over the how, the actual execution of tasks, what intentional steps are you taking today to deepen your expertise in the uniquely human domains of why, purpose, strategy, complex problem framing, and who, empathy, trust, and relationship building? Something powerful to mull over until our next deep dive.